happy hobby, getting your sports cards graded can make your collection easier to sell, more valuable, and I'm going to show you how it can even make your collection much more fun to own. That's right, I'm going to show you 7 different reasons why you should get your sports cards graded, and I'm going to show you 3 reasons at the very end of this video. You'll want to stick around. 3 reasons why you should not get them graded. Now first, make sure you watch this Packstravaganza video. This is a free giveaway we're doing away in mid-January. 21 different people are going to be chosen from this video. Make sure you do the 3 simple things you have to do to be eligible to be one of those 21 winners. We're giving away hundreds of cards, hundreds of dollars worth of cards. We're even going to give away a SGC slab of a vintage baseball card that's worth over $100. So make sure check out that video. Now we're going to talk about the 7 reasons you should get your cards graded. And first we have 3 main reasons why you should get them graded. And then 4 secondary reasons, which just, it's a good idea to get them graded. So first, the first main reason why you should get them graded, you want to encapsulate them. You want to protect them. You want to keep the card in the exact condition that it currently is in. You want to have it preserved, so to speak. This way you know the condition of the card will never get worse than what it is inside this card. Obviously, if you drown it or if you put it in the sun, it could get worse that way. But for the most part, it's not going to get corners dinged. It's not going to get the surface scratched, the side, the edges scratched. The paper's not going to peel off of it. It's going to be in the best condition right now, and it'll never get worse. And a slab is much more sturdy, much more protective than just a top loader or a card saver or a penny sleeve. Slabs are much more protective, easier to move around, easier to deal with. The number 2 reason you want to make sure you get your card graded is to authenticate. You want to make sure this card is a real card. It's authentic. Now you know it's a real card. Maybe you pulled it. You know it's a real card. But what if it's an old card that maybe you bought off of eBay and it looks like an awesome card and you can't believe what a great deal you got on it? Then you send it off to get graded and they tell you, yeah, this is not an authentic card. Or it's been altered. That's another thing. You find out it's been altered and now you have an altered card. If you didn't get it graded, if you didn't send it off, you might not have never known and you might have tried to sell it. And say you did sell it, now that person's coming after you because they went to get it graded and it comes back as inauthentic or it comes back that it was altered. And now you're in trouble. This way you can tell it's the genuine article and it has not been altered. Now yes, it's true. A lot of people complain that, oh, graders, they grade fake cards all the time. They put grades on fake cards. What is me sending in a card to get authenticated? What does that do? First off, the cards you're likely sending in and the cards I'm sending in are like $50 to $100, $200 cards. Those aren't getting counterfeited. Counterfeit cards are for the Jordan rookies. Counterfeit cards are for autographs, expensive autographs. That's not for the cards that most of us are collecting and most of us will be sending in. So you don't have to worry about that. Now the third reason you want to get your cards graded is Valuates it. Your card is now graded by experts in the field of card grading. So they've seen thousands of these cards come through and they've decided that this card is of this specific grade. So what does that do for you really? What that does is it removes the friction on selling that card. Now you have a third party that has told you what the condition of this card is. Also that it's authentic and that it hasn't been altered. So you have that third party that says this is the condition of this card. Near mint, it's excellent, it's mint, whatever it is. Now you can take that and it's easier for you to sell that card to someone else. And for the buyer, it's much easier for me to buy that card because I know a third party has said that this is the condition of that card. Makes it much easier to sell, to trade, or even if you're just going to hold on to it and give it to your family as an inheritance. It's easier for them after you're gone for them to be able to sell it and get a value on it at the minimum. What if you bought stock and no one in your family could find out how much that stock's worth? They just know that you own some stock, but they don't know how much it's worth. And to them, it's really of no value because they don't know what it's worth. Instead, now you know the condition of that card, gives you a much better idea of what the value is and gives your family a better idea. So those are the 3 big reasons: encapsulate, authenticate, and valuate. Now, let's talk about the 4 minor reasons why you should consider getting your cards graded. You want to display it. That's the number 4 thing, display it. You have an awesome card and now you've got a company that says, yeah, that is an awesome card. This is an awesome grade on the card. You want to put it up in a display case or you put it on your desk. You want to have it out so it's visible and nice. You just want to enjoy it. It's a nice way to enjoy it. Have it displayed in in a curio cabinet. get it displayed. The fifth reason is certification. When you get your cards graded, the company is going to put a certification number on that card. It's going to put a serial number with it that tells them you own this card. If someone else tries to steal your card, that certification number could help identify your card if it ever is stolen. And that's especially valuable for vintage cards or unnumbered cards in general. That's a good thing to have. And then the sixth reason is it improves the value of that card. You might have a card that's in raw condition worth like $100, but you send it to a grader, a third party. Now that third party determines this is in this condition, mint or near mint or gem. Now the value of that card skyrockets, much more valuable once it's a third party has determined the condition of that card. So not only does the grading process determine the grade of that card, but now it helps the value as well. And then finally, the seventh reason to get it graded is you don't know how popular or how scarce that card really is until you get it graded. Once you get it graded, you know the grade. You can look up on the pop reports on whether it's PSA or SGC or one of these other sites. You can know exactly how many of that card has been graded at this grade. And now that helps you again in selling it. This card, there's only 800 of these graded this high, or there's only 200 better than the grade of this card. That's a big deal when you're trying to sell it. Now, some people might say you should only get your cards graded if it's going to improve their value. I disagree with that, and here's why. If it's one of my favorite cards ever, I want that thing graded, encapsulated. I want to be able to display it. I want it to look as awesome as the really awesome cards. It's special to me, so I'm going to treat it special. Also, you might get a card graded that isn't valuable enough right now to get graded, but maybe it's going to be valuable in the future. You want to be ready for when that player blows up, you'll have that card ready to sell if you want to sell it. So while the card might not be as valuable now to get graded, you believe it will be more valuable in the future, so you get it graded now in hopes of that. Okay, so you've waited patiently. You've seen the 7 reasons why you should get your sports cards graded. Now here are 3 reasons you don't want to get them graded. Now, you might have cards that you like a lot, but maybe they're not going to rise in value, or maybe they're not super special to you. You don't have to get them graded. You can just put them in a one-touch. A protector like this with a magnetic holder right here, that protects it pretty well, and it's pretty nice. You can still display it well. It's just not as tall and as cool as a graded card would be, but it's still pretty nice. So another reason why you won't want to get your cards graded is if they're going to come back in horrible condition. They're relatively modern cards. So like say you have something from 2012 and you think it's going to come back with a 6 or a 7, I don't know, maybe you don't want to get that graded. If you really love that card, maybe you buy a newer version or a better version of it, which probably most of the cards out there are in better condition than a 6 or a 7 because it's only a 10-year-old card. So go buy that and get that one graded. And then finally, the third reason you might not want to get your sports card graded is for storage. Graded sports cards take up a lot of room. They take up a lot more room than cards in top loaders or just cards loose, raw, in a box somewhere. So maybe you want to wait to get them graded until you have a little more space, and maybe you have displays or something like that, but you don't have to get them graded today. You just might want to get them graded in the future. So now you know grading your sports cards is a good idea for the most part. Grading your sports cards can certainly help you have a happy hobby. And in this next video, I'm going to show you 5 helpful tips for grading with SGC, whom I love. It's tuxedo time.